All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the June 2nd, 2025 select meeting. Called to order at 6:39. We went into non-public at 6:15. Possible new hires for DPW and fire department. And at this time, I'd like to call to order the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. First up, we'll have public comment.
Hi, so I'm Weston Sager. I live on 457 Reservoir Drive here in town. This is my dad, Rick. You may recognize us because we presented to you a little while ago about auction services, and I understand from the agenda you're deciding on that tonight in a closed discussion. I just wanted to, during this public comment, just make a note because I didn't know this until about an hour ago. But just, in making your decision, we are going to be teaming up, doing some cross-marketing with a regional, municipal real estate auction house that's licensed in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island that would increase our bidder list to between 20 and 25,000. And that consists of real estate, investors, developers, and house hunters in New England and beyond. So if you do decide to go with us, I think you would be very confident in understanding you'd get the best possible marketing along with the legal services that we provide, which you already know about because we went on and on about it, a while ago. But that's really it, and that's why we're here, was because this happened, confirming this about an hour and 15 minutes ago. So unless you have other questions for me, we're happy to leave you to other business.
It's a company we've been in negotiations with for quite some time, and it just sort of was, lucky that they called.
Yeah, so just want to let you guys know.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Guess I can make my pitch one more time.
David Erickson, Poor Farm Road, and I'm here again for the Energy Commission. And Bruce will be communicating with you about this, but now that we see that we probably can't go forward with accepting our the grant that's available to the town to put the solar on the fire station at a safety complex. I hope that we can all work together to get that to happen. To sign a contract contingent on the vote of the townspeople next March. It's a great opportunity, but I realize we just don't have the funds to do it, unfortunately, until the town approves it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Department head committee items. Review of fire engine bid and updates. We recognize Chief Rourke.
Good evening. So I'll give you the update on the fire engine. You want me to go through all the other stuff I have too for you guys tonight?
That's all I got on there for you tonight, but yes, let's go through that first.
Okay. So we met the other night. All the quotes came in, with the exception of one. So we put out 7 manufacturers. We contacted 7 manufacturers for a bid proposal from them. 6 replied. 1 still hasn't. So we just kind of crossed them off. We met the other night. There was about 12 members showed up for the truck committee meeting, and we narrowed that down to 3. HME, which is the current vendor, or current fire truck and engine 2 that we have now, which will be out of Lakes region. Spartan, which is also a vehicle out of Lakes region, different model. And Rosenbauer, which is out of Massachusetts, and that's specialty vehicles, for which that's the same company we buy our ambulances from, and we purchased the last 4 ambulances from. The bids are extremely close. They're, I would say, no more than maybe $10,000-15,000 separating all of them. We are going to be going through going over to see a couple Rosenbauer vehicles Wednesday the 4th, so coming up here in the evening. So everyone will have a chance to go take a look at that. That's where we are right now. I'm hoping by the end of the month, the last meeting of the month here, that we will have a final, probably before that, but I won't see you guys until then. But we'll have a final pick of who we're going with. Questions, comments, concerns?
Not at this time.
What do the deliveries look like?
So that was a huge thing. Most of these guys are both within 35, 40 days of each other, and they're running around 500 and probably like 550 days. Some of the manufacturers were up near 900 days to 1,050 days, which is like 2.5 years, 2 3/4 to a little bit over 3 years for delivery time. So those people kind of got eliminated right away due to that. Anything else? Nope. Do you want me to continue, or you want me to wait and go through everything?
Well, what did you have, I guess? That's all I got on you for
I just was gonna update you on some stuff, like the hazard mitigation plan,
Alright.
stuff like that. Okay, I'll make it really quick. So the hazard mitigation plan, as some of you guys know, we had applied for an extension for that because we weren't gonna make the time. That grant has been eliminated by the federal government. There is no more funding for that anymore. So we did not make the cut for that. So now we are on the hook for $12,000 roughly to have that plan done. So we need to look in the very near future to see where that money's coming from, because like we just had the storms and everything else like that with if something ever went, which I had stated before, and you're applying for federal funds, we are not gonna get anything because we don't have this.
And it was late because why? Just update. I know the answer. Why don't you tell us?
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yeah, I do.
It was late because the communication with the board, I found out about this last August, and, multiple emails went out and nothing was ever, I guess, done with it. And then it just, between having a meeting to accept it and a meeting for public comment and a meeting for this, it kind of got dragged out, which honestly really wasn't a problem because we applied for and we got the extension for it, which wasn't a big deal. That went to the governor's office, and that wasn't a big deal. We were all set to get that. It just was the federal part of it that they said no more. So that's where we lost out on that. So it really wasn't, we would have still been on track if it wasn't for the federal government on that.
Does Southern New Hampshire do anything with that?
They were one, sorry. They were one of the bidders, but we went with the person that's doing the other
We went with
emergency
the person that's
management.
doing the emergency operation
They were gonna
plan,
do
which is
them
MAPS.
Simultaneously, yeah. We already signed with that company.
And to be honest with you, both, when I asked the other guys for a bid, they're like, how much is the grant for? And I told them, like, that's what we're gonna do it for. So, that's, was kind of,
Right.
whatever, they're gonna do it for what the grant is.
You're right.
When I call them up, say, we don't have a grant, we do it for,
So it might be behoove to call around now if now we're under the gun and we're paying for it or the town has to pay for it out of the pocket. So it would behoove us to do that probably, and maybe call those guys back again and see what they can do. Any questions on that, more? I'll just
No.
move on quickly with that.
Sorry that ended up that way.
Yeah, and again, it's the federal wasn't anything really on our side. We were gonna get the extension and everything else like that, so. Three new people were added to the call force. You guys will probably talk about later about that. I just want to mention Emma Edwards. She's in EMT school right now. And you guys just saw Riley Davis, who was in EMT and firefighter school, and Jaden Lamoth, who's in EMT school. Quickly, the AC compressors down at the safety complex, all of them have never had any PM maintenance done on them. So we recently had one sound like two gorillas fighting in a small box. That's been fixed, and I'm getting a quote from Granite State Plumbing and Heating, local, so keeping stuff local, we're trying to, about getting PM maintenance done on those, and I'll bring that back to you guys, or bring that back to Beth or Naomi or whatever when I get that. South Station generator is up and running, working fine, works great, does testing and everything else like that, so that's good. With keeping with that, the South Station bathroom and floors, we're gonna be doing those very soon here. We got some new stuff for them. New lines painted at the safety complex. Thank you to Highway Department. Highway, not here, but thank you, Jason, for that. Looks good. Cisterns are starting to be mowed, since we took that over this year. That was one thing we saved $8,900 by not paying someone to mow grass, which is astronomical. I can't, whatever. But we went out and got some tools, so we were into like 9 of them already, I think, are done so far in the past 3 or 4 days.
Nice.
So we're doing that on duty, so in between calls and stuff like that. So there's no like overtime or anything else like that. Again, just throwing out, if everyone knows, we have a new phone number, 603-602-0000. If you call our old number, the 529-2352, you will be advised that the number has been changed. You can call in and that number there, and there's a menu to get around within the firehouse to either speak to myself or the officers or whoever. Both myself and C2, we attended a active shooter incident management class. It was an intensive 3-day course put on by the Department of Homeland Security and Texas A&M University. Very, very extremely intense class. The state of New Hampshire fell on this. A 3-day class was close to $70,000. And the state of New Hampshire fell on this because someone else canceled at the last moment. So we were able to get in that, and we learned a lot from that class. Scott Sanborn, one of our firefighter EMTs, his last day will be 6/28, the end of June. We wish him well. Scott Sanborn is going down to Georgia, is leaving the state. So he is going down to Georgia. We will be missing him. I will be posting that position probably tomorrow on the Fire Academy website and hope to get that filled. The cruiser, I don't know if you guys are updated on the cruiser or not. The cruiser's up and running fine. That was at Bank Chevrolet actually for a couple months out of commission. The input shaft of the transmission snapped in half. They said that it was going to be around $8,500 to fix it. And Naomi made one phone call, and the town paid $450 to get the car out of there, and it's fixed. So I don't have those kind of connections, but thank you, Naomi, for doing that. You saved the town a boatload of money. And I had one other thing that should be on the thing, and that's to talk about a grant. Is that on there? Do you want me to talk about that now?
Sure, go ahead.
All right, because C2 couldn't make it tonight. So the Gary Sinise Foundation, if you guys aren't, I'm just going to bring it up on my phone here because he texted me. If you're not familiar with Gary Sinise, he was Lieutenant Dan and Forrest Gump, okay? So that's Gary Sinise. So Gary Sinise's foundation helps out a lot of wounded veterans, fire departments, police departments, first responders. After we went through this program in Concord for the active shooter, we never had, and we did not have ever, like basically what we need is when we go into a active shooter, we're required to have ballistic gear on, or ballistic, at least a vest, helmet, and that's such of uniform or equipment that we have to have. We do not have any of that. Chief Anderson looked up and got into the Gary Sinise Foundation, and he would like to be able to put in for 4 vests, 4 helmets, 4 bags, and 2 litters to like carry people out back and forth, and that's a total of $10,800. He would like to be able to apply for that grant, and it's a straight out grant. There's no matching funds, there's no nothing. And then if we did get that, then it would be our responsibility, because I believe almost like the police department, every 5 years that gear has to be, it just breaks down and you have to buy like the new plates for it and stuff like that. But right now, currently, we do not have anything. So if something was to happen at the school, we're not going in and getting anybody out of there at all, because we can't. So,
Does that grant cover the entire acquisition cost?
yes. Yep. Yep. So he would just like, and I'm sorry he's not here, but he would just like permission to apply for that grant.
As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Do they actually need permission to apply for a grant?
No,
I need a motion anyway, right? Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, all right, thank you. And one last thing, we did do the CPR class, which went phenomenal down at the station. If anyone wants to, anyone in the community, in the listening area here, wants learn CPR, just get a hold of Chief Anderson, and I believe there's another list being established, if not a wait list already for that, so.
awesome.
Okay,
All right.
anything else? Questions, comments, concerns?
Well, thanks, chief.
All right, thank you,
Good job.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Next on my list is update for the fundraising campaign of the library. Recognize Director Clay, Library Director Clay.
Thank you, Benji. All right, so I'm going to pass these out. I printed more than necessary. And I'm also joined by Trustee Josh Hilliard. All right, I don't know if you want. Right, so where we are now, if you know, in previous meetings, we've talked about the ideas for having a library expansion. We had plans for that. We decided, because it was our fundraising, we're fairly new to the fundraising for the major capital projects. And because it looked like the fundraising was going to be a bit of a challenge for the expansion, we decided to start instead with a campaign for other projects. So last year we gave the Selectmen a campaign statement. What you have here is a more abbreviated version of the campaign statement. I think, James, you were here to get that for the previous updates. Bruce, I know you're new here. But so we, one of the things in our campaign was to restoring the classics. That was quickly funded, and that, I'm very thankful for that. Other items, we, as a ventless fireplace insert, a new book and media drop, and that will be on the exterior. Page room improvements, and a new children's circulation desk. Now, we haven't started this campaign yet. But we're I'm hoping we're getting here towards the end. We also had the outdoor projects of a learning garden and pollinator. A learning garden is what it was, and then the outdoor stories and STEAM program stage. And previously, the case statement I gave you had an estimate that we got from contractors, but we decided that we needed to more thoroughly think about our landscape and design. We wanted something that worked into something that like a larger project. When we were communicating with contractors, a lot of times they didn't really know what we were looking for. And so we hired a landscaping designer, Suzanne Smith-Meyer, and she came up with this design right here. And so as you can, if you're looking at this 11 by 17 handout, there's quite a bit on it, and there's quite a bit of projects that we can raise funds for. We've decided that a good way to start for this year, and maybe going on to the preceding year as well, is to fund, again, the indoor projects, the media, the book and media drop. We're looking for funds for that. But we will ask campaign for the outdoor stuff that's on the west side of the library. So again, if you're looking at the design, you see the east side, the stuff where it has the bridge, the music, the art, story walk, all that stuff, that's going to be coming later. But in the meantime, to get us started for this year and the preceding year, like I said, we want to focus on the learning garden, the pollinator meadows, and the stage area. So the estimate, we got some rough estimates from Eastern Valley Landscaping, and the learning garden would come up to be about $15,530, and then the Stories and STEAM program will be $35,530. So for this fundraising campaign, we are hoping to raise a total of everything together, $86,975. So, right, so before we embark on this campaign, we need to seek your approval, because this is your land, you own the building, you own the land, and so before we start a radical project like this, I would want to get your approval. And so, before we start raising funds for this, that way we won't have to give the funds back, So,
I would see the
Yeah.
biggest question come up
Yeah.
would be what the, estimated annual maintenance of those areas would be, because I'm sure you'd have to have landscapers take care of them and stuff.
right, well, you're providing the landscaping.
Right, but this would be an additional cost other than mowing the grass.
It would? I don't,
Well, maybe not, I'm asking the question, I guess.
oh, no, I don't think it would. I mean, because right now, we do have a garden area right now that our staff is maintaining.
Okay.
Right, so, and then good thing about the pollinator meadows is you can just kind of let them go. So if anything,
Okay.
it's less grass to mow, so.
All right, well, that's the
Yeah.
only question was if it was more weeding or planting or.
Yeah.
None of this is in the way of any proposed expansion plans you have.
Right, yeah, so this is, again, this is kind of a way in the fundraising process to get our feet wet and test the waters for a much larger expansion project, because the estimate for our expansion was $5.3 million. So this is, again, it's kind of a smaller, more modest fundraising campaign to see, what kind of funds we get, what kind of interest we have, the people who are donating, formulate relationships with the donors before we embark on the expansion.
Yeah, but is it,
Oh, well,
are these details in the way of where you?
Yes, and actually, the initial part that we're raising funds for right now, the west portion, Okay, I do have an image. It might be really hard for you to see it, though, but this is, if you do an overlap, right here, this is what the expansion's gonna be. So, and actually, this fire pit, we decided not to do this portion, so this is just gonna be grass. So this part right here, the stage area, yes, would be, the expansion would cover that area up. So,
So it's like this outline here, this,
right, it's gonna be like right through here. I don't know if anyone else wants to see this right here.
yeah, I kind of see it, yep.
Yeah, this part that I circled right here, western portion, will be, hopefully, when we do have an expansion, the good thing, though, is that the stage area can be moved, but then we would have to think about where we're gonna move the stage area. And, yes, that would be more funds we would have to raise, but at $5.3 million, however, I don't know, even if it was like $10,000, that's gonna be kind of chump change, in order to move the stage to somewhere else. So, but that would be a great problem to have, I think. And then the stuff on the east side, that won't be touched by the expansion.
I may be recognized.
Yes, go.
Thank you. Josh Hilliard, Woodbury Road. I'm one of the library trustees. So thanks for listening to the pitch Clay provided. Just want to provide a little more detail as well. Of course, the goal here is anything we're looking to move forward with is going to be completely funded by private donations. As I think you know, in the last budget we provided, pursuant to law, we provided a portion that we hope to raise through fundraising. So any of these items won't go forward unless we do fundraise for them. And critically, we wanted to be here today, as Clay said, recognizing that any changes to the exterior grounds, we'd be looking for some manner of select board approval, even just provisional approval at this point, before we go sort of live with the campaign, because as Clay said, we don't want to raise money for something that the town says, no, we don't want to make changes to the exterior of the building or the exterior of the grounds in some ways or another. So I don't know if that's something you guys need to marinate on and get back to us, but that's just what we're looking for at some point, just to have the okay before we go live. And at first it'd be, just so you're aware as well, there's sort of a quiet phase, the expert we've been working with in terms of fundraising, where we'll be reaching out to individual donors and hopefully raising quite a bit of the funds before you kind of go live with it. The idea being that if you've already raised 60, 80% of the funds, that last bit is great for people to chip in those $5, $10 things to get you over the line. But that initial portion would be raised primarily through hopefully more significant donations from private individuals in town or elsewhere. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I know there's drainage problems around that building.
I'm not aware of drainage issues. I mean, I think they've been remedied, maybe in previous, I think there was, before I worked there was a time when it flooded, but we haven't had any flooding since I've been here. So,
Okay, just,
I drew an under drain around the back east side of it years and years and years ago, but mainly was the gutter system. We did run a drainage system.
I know that front room under the flooded quite extensively.
Oh, did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Going down into the Sawyer room, though, at times, is that water puddles down? I know water runs downhill, but a lot of times when we used to use it, there used to be, if it rained hard, it ran down the walkway and it stayed by the door. Does that go anywhere or just eventually go away?
It doesn't puddle anymore,
Okay.
yeah.
Been a long time, I guess.
Right, yeah. So, I know on the north side, next to the elevator, there's some rocks there.
Okay.
I think that was put there, again, I don't know much about drainage, but
Yeah.
I think that was put there just in case if there was flooding issues, but it's never happened. Everything's dry down there. I mean, it does get a little humid and I have to put in a dehumidifier, but other than that, yeah.
I'm all for dressing it up, and if something has to get moved in the future, if it's not a big deal, like it's probably gonna be a while before that happens. Just, like I said, I wanna reiterate, make sure that, because I don't know about gardening or none of this, it looks good on here, but the annual maintenance will be, if there's a price in having a contractor do that, that would be where I could see people maybe having a problem with it. Other than that, talk to the rest of my colleagues here, if you wanna put it off for another time, that's fine, but personally, as one person, I wanna make sure that, because Looks great on paper, but I don't know what it takes to maintain this.
Sure, and that's absolutely been something that's been in the mind of the trustees that we've been discussing this. And as you see, there's quite a bit of, some great ideas on the other side of the building that I think probably would require additional maintenance throughout the year. So that's not where we're starting. We don't want to start with that more troublesome aspect of it. I shouldn't say troublesome, the more complicated aspect of it.
Right, if I could add, just today, we had 25 kids came out to paint the garden boxes because we're using the garden area as part of our programs. So it's something that, especially Sandy on our staff she's been very meticulous about taking care of our current gardens. And it's just something we can always incorporate into our programming, or we have volunteers as well. Or, if it takes me a few hours, every month or something to go out and weed, that, I'm cool with that too. So, I'm not worried about labor for the maintenance.
I think dressing up that corner there where you have the stage and the garden area would be a decent place to start. The question I have about the pollinator meadows, we do use that field quite a bit for, during the Old Home Day and a few other things that are going on. People love to set up their chairs in that lawn area to watch fireworks and everything. Yeah, they'll just have to move around that, but it's something to take into consideration.
Right, and it's not that much space. We still think we provide enough lawn area. Even like, let's say, Old Home Day, there was that's one of the few times that there's actually been something in this since I've been here. There was one time during the Pine Tree Riot anniversary, they did set up a tent. During one of the Old Home Days, they had like this inflatable dragon thing that kids would jump on or whatever. But even though that was in that space that was just right to the east of the Stone Memorial Building, there was plenty of space to the south of it. So there was still, a lot of grass space that was not being used.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit less.
Right, that's
all.
I'm okay with them doing a fundraiser.
I am too. And I understand the stage and the garden area and that other stuff. Is a pollinator meadows, are they something that are going to be used by kids? Is it just, what are they? I don't know.
I think it's more of an aesthetic choice to both have some
Flowers? Is it?
Yeah, flowers and some natural wild plants that would grow in New Hampshire, to both aid sort of with the educational aspects where they've been doing already quite a bit of gardening outside, but be, of course, low to no maintenance on them was the goal there.
right. And I didn't even, I see Bruce now, he's like, hey, look at the other side. Yes, on the other side, this is images that were collected from Pinterest, that the staff and also our landscape, and the trustees and landscaper designer, we picked out these images as like inspiration. So it doesn't mean we're going to have I'm going to call it a chainsaw sculpture of an owl. It's just kind of an
I
idea
think
that maybe something.
second picture down from the top on the left, kind of looks like a pollinator meadow to me.
Yeah.
You guys all right with them? Doing fundraising?
Yeah, I'm all for the fundraising, absolutely.
Yep.
Great. We'll get started on sort of that quiet phase, but certainly keep you all updated as things progress on our end.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
thank you.
Thank you. Discussion of extension of Sewell Hoyt Road. Jacques Belanger?
Good evening, I'm Jock Belanger, I did the survey work on this project. I got a plan if you want.
I got the idea.
Is that the only side you have?
Yeah, full size. Yeah, you can see them. I think I grabbed the wrong roll.
We have markers for the boys.
No, I grabbed some of the wrong roll. This is the last lot on the left, going down Sewell Hoyt Road. I think 2 years ago now. Sandken Homes bought the property and is looking to develop it, break it up into 3 lots. I've met with the planning board on this. We've surveyed it, met with the planning board. It's about 53 acres. We have the foundation, that if you're looking at the plan, foundation of the home that was there. We're looking to break 2 more lots off. They're larger lots. One has a building pocket out back, and the other one's got an isolated building pocket out towards the front. We're dealing with the Army Corps easement on that property to the 420 elevation. So we're pretty limited to where we can work. That and there's a ton of wetlands. So for 53 acres, we found 3 building sites is what it comes down to. I've met with the planning board, like I said. It's a class 5 road up to about where we show that green driveway shooting into the property, the long one. The town maintains it up to there. And we met, not the long one, but the little short stubby one beyond that. We walked the site with Jason, the road agent, and he suggested what he'd like to see is about 280 feet of the road improved with a dedicated L-type turnaround at the end. He really wasn't looking for a whole lot. We wanted to match the travel way, which is 16 to 18 feet. It's pretty narrow. And I believe he wanted to see a culvert thrown in there. There's no drainage on that in that area except for down by the existing home. So the water kind of just sheets across the road. So take care of that runoff as well. Other than that, he really didn't seem to think it needed a whole lot of improvement.
Where you gonna run that turnaround? Is it showing a driveway right there? Does that go to a house now?
No, that's, on the opposite side of the road?
Yeah.
No, that's just a cut into the abutting property on the other side of the road. It's a large tract. I think it's over 100 acres. Yeah. There is a foundation on that lot across the street, and I think they're pulling a building permit on it soon if they haven't already. It's Rob Gordon's piece.
So to give you any specs or what he wanted you to do upgrade the road, like,
No, we talked about just putting together a typical town standard, a cross-section, excuse me, typical cross-section with showing the slacks that you spec in your road design.
okay.
Just, like I said, I think it said 16 or 18 feet of travel way, just to match whatever's in front there. Currently, I think there's 4 homes on the left side going in, and like I said, the Gordons are pulling a permit for the one on the right. So, it's not a very busy road.
Is the existing foundation, there's the place it burnt, right?
Yes, yeah, it's been graded and shaped up, and there's a little memorial type thing down now.
Yeah.
That's where,
But all these will access Silhoit,
Yeah, the long, it's been a minute since I've
the
looked
one
at
that
this.
goes way out here?
Yeah, there's the furthest lot to the east, 9-2, will actually have a building pocket that's way out back. It's well over 1,000 feet.
I see that.
Yeah, it's what it is. They kind of refer to it as an estate lot, I guess. It's large. It's nice land back there once you get there. Just because it's below the 420 elevation, it's not necessarily a wetland. You just can't use it for homes. So it's just traveling out back to get to a building pocket.
Too bad you couldn't go off Lindsay Lane.
what's your
Yeah,
lowest
I've heard that
point,
a couple times.
what's your lowest point in your driveway going out there, any idea?
No idea. No, we haven't done a profile or anything. No.
So basically, you're looking for us tonight to give permission to upgrade the road, right?
I believe so. I believe that's the step we're looking at.
Yeah,
That's what the planning board sent him here for,
yeah,
Yep.
because it's a town road now.
yeah.
Yeah, we need to get recommendations from
What's
planning
that?
board. We need planning board input, recommendation from the planning board or anything?
Well, he was already at planning board. They sent him here because it's town road.
Right,
Are you looking for them to do the oversight like they're doing on Al's Drive?
yeah. I think so.
That would make sense to me, because you're already doing it with one of them on Al's Drive.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're gonna give him permission, he can work with the planning board, I'm guessing, just like Al's Drive is. You guys had the request to Al's Drive, and you sent it over to the planning board to work with, excuse me, the engineer.
Right.
So I'm assuming they bounced him over here to get permission from you, and then he can work through it with the planning board and with Jason, under Jason's direction. Because Keach will probably just do an oversight.
Yeah.
That's the engineer.
Yes, that piece is class 6, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, up till gate.
So usually-
Yeah,
Yeah. Should be under Jason's supervision of it.
Correct.
Yeah,
The planning board should give like a list of specs of,
right.
Yep. Which is what they're doing at,
That's right.
they've had a site walk, and they're doing that at Palace Drive. But he had to, it's your road.
Right.
So that's where he starts.
kind of starts here. Yeah.
and like I said, I met with Jason already, and his recommendations weren't much. He wasn't looking for a lot. Permanent turnaround, which we'd deed to the town, and the upgrade.
Well, I'm okay with giving permission to improve it with the planning board oversight and road agent, DPW.
Yeah. Yep.
Do we need to make an official motion on this?
Yeah, we'll make a motion. I'll make that motion.
What was that motion? You might want to repeat it.
I make a motion to,
Approximately how many feet?
280,
284.
84 to 84.
284.
give 77 Sewell Hoyt Road LLC permission to upgrade 284 feet of Sewell Hoyt Road under the direction of the planning board and DPW
To class
to
5
class
standard.
5 standards.
Yeah, I second it.
And that's to a gravel surface.
Right.
Yeah, that's what the existing road is.
Yeah, match existing, okay. And then want 284 feet of pavement.
Or have to pay the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, vote.
Yeah, I say it. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Great, well, thank you for meeting with me.
You want them back? I'll just keep one for the file.
No, we're good. I'll give you it if you
We're
want.
flooding in papers.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Discuss horse sheds behind town hall. Recognize Sherry Burdick.
Sherry Burdick, Deering Center Road. I called several roofers, and I've had nobody come out to look at the roof. One guy that had looked at it a couple of years ago said the roof was so bad he wouldn't even dare get up on it because he'd do more damage to it because it's so brittle. I talked with the board of directors last Wednesday night, and we had a long discussion about it, and we feel that the Historical Society will pay to put a new roof on. Maybe have you guys put it out to bid. We'd like to be able to look at the bids and pick who we think we'd want to do it. But we'll pay for the whole thing.
Where do those funds come from?
They'll come out of the Historical Society, general fund. We have about $4,500 and save the buildings fund. So we'll take the $4,500 out of that, and then the rest will come out of a general fund.
It needs to be done. I poked a 2x4 at the bottom, but almost went through it. So,
Well, it's leaking in 2 places that I've seen. I went up when it was pouring one day. But it's not leaking a lot right now,
No,
but
but
it's the boards are gonna get
boards
rotten.
are all wet on the bottom.
Well, some of them are just stained, and I don't think they're stained now from being wet, because I took a stepladder and felt of it.
Yeah.
But I think they got stained up the last go-around when they weren't when it wasn't taken care of. So,
It definitely needs to be done. It's gonna go fast now.
yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean, I'm trying to get this done so it can,
I
we
mean, the
can
roof's
do it.
gonna go away fast now.
Yeah.
It's already blown off on that one side by the leak.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that, Naomi, that same, whatever you had before that you put out to bid probably is fine.
Okay. Yeah.
And probably the sooner the better. I don't know who will bid on it, but
Yeah.
they're all busy right now. So we'll just have to wait and see.
So it's not just the shingles, but it's gonna be the whole or as much?
Well, they'll
much as
replace
necessary?
anything that has to get replaced, they'll have to do it. You're not gonna put new shingles on and have a rotten
I
board.
guess that's the only thing, is if we have the bid specs that we want, or if you guys wanna draw up what you want.
I think Naomi had it pretty well drawn up before when she did it, put it out.
We did,
We
and
had
then we
two-
got two bids, one was 13 and one was 25,000.
Yeah, so,
If we have the bid specs, I mean, that's fine, I just, I don't
yeah, I
wanna.
think she has everything.
I can look, it's been a few years.
It's been a couple now.
Yeah,
Send me a copy of it, I'll take a quick peek at it.
yeah.
And if you want to email it to me, I'll look at it quickly, Naomi. So do you need to
I'm
make?
all right sending it out to bid, you know, and see what the bids come in at, and see if there's money enough to do it.
Yeah, well, we're hoping that'll be end under 25,
Yeah, it's the first step anyway, we have to do that.
yeah.
Don't really need a
But
motion
we'll-
for that, do we?
They've made it to pay for the whole thing, so.
We probably should, I mean, we'll make a motion, we,
Allow them to send out the bid?
Well, I thought we were gonna look,
We need to see if you got the
I'll
bid specs
send out the
first.
bid specs, and then you guys are meeting next week again.
Yeah.
And then the 23rd, but we wanna get it out.
Right.
So I can forward it to everybody, and then maybe next week if you
Let's
can
next
take a
week,
peek
let's
at
do
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
The only thing is, what is all the stuff in there? Because I took pictures and shared it with all you. There's rolled up carpets, there's all these.
Those just came recently. Those carpets have not been there, they were not there last
The old steeple
fall.
project, we don't need that anymore,
The
I
what?
can't imagine.
you'll steeple
The old
material.
steeple that's all rotted and all the fence that was up there, that's in there.
Yeah, I'll look at it, I'll take a look,
I know
but
the
those
old
rugs,
doors
I don't
are
know
in
where.
there, and that's, I don't know where you put those doors. Those doors have a lot of character, but I don't
and
know
there's-
what you do with them.
When the doors were replaced on the town hall, they were replaced twice, because the first guy screwed the doors up, so they weren't usable anymore. I think those are in there, those can go, those can
Those are
go
junk
away.
doors anyway.
There's a bunch of wood up there. I mean, I took pictures of all the stuff that is
They
up
can't be
there.
hung on the building, they must not be any good.
The doors that they did initially, I think came from Mass Road, Grain and Lumber, those doors were pressed sawdust board, and they weren't on very long and they fell right off the doors.
Right, that's what I mean, those could go away, we don't need those in.
I don't think that's those. I think it's the original.
No, those are there too,
If the original doors that were on the fire station are in there.
yeah.
I mean, those could probably go down and be put down in the barn down there on East Road to be stored.
I don't know if that bond's in any better shape.
Are they any good for doors anymore?
I think more historical than
Pretty
anything.
heavy doors.
Yeah,
With the window broken. The windows, the glass is broken.
yeah.
I just wondering.
The rugs, though,
It's like at work. I got a guy that likes to take cutting edges off and save the old cutting edges. If they're no good, then let's throw them away.
Right,
If they
right.
are, let's leave them where they are.
yeah.
If they're good doors, let's hang them up. If they're not, let's ding them.
Those arch top doors.
Those are the arch top. Those are kind of historical. Those came off the first major fire station in town. But as far as those rugs, I don't know who brought those. Somebody just plopped them in
There's a
there.
bunch of junk in there. I don't know where
Probably
they
could
all came.
get a truck and
There's,
just toss half of that stuff.
There was a lot of, I hesitate to say junk because one junk is someone else's treasure, so.
Maybe we get Jason or something over there with a couple guys in a truck and
Yeah,
haul.
because there's
some of the crap
there's
away.
ladders up above, there's doors, there's,
Let's get somebody to mark.
We climb
what's
3
going
feet off the
there.
ground on those ladders.
well, I don't think we should send the highway over and just clean it out. 'cause
No.
that-
No, no.
Nobody's-
No, I'm just saying, but
Well, for this
I'll
project,
go out and
let's,
take a look.
this project, let's see if we have a set of bid specs, and if we do, if we all like them, and
Yeah.
then next week, maybe we can
I can
discuss
come up.
and give you
You want-
permission to send out to bid. Does that sound good, everybody?
Yeah,
It does.
Sounds fine.
Sound good to you, Dave? All right.
Can I bring one more thing up tonight while I'm here?
Sure.
I got this given to me. It's a bill for the alarm system over at the Historical Society, which I don't believe we're responsible for because we're responsible for utilities. And utilities are essential services such as electricity, propane, natural gas, heating oil, water, and sewage. So I don't know why we're getting a bill for the alarm system because the town owns the building. They should have the alarm system along with their insurance. That shouldn't come to the Historical Society.
That came to you back when, several months back, it was brought to our attention from the then chair that all the expenses, and that's why they cut the budget to zero.
Right,
So
but,
that's why I think you got mailed that, because the proposed budget removed all the funding per the conversation, I don't remember the day,
I
but it was
wasn't
during
here.
the budget season.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that, but.
That's how I think you got it,
But
I
the-
don't know.
Yeah, but the town, the Historical Society is only responsible for the utilities, not alarm systems and not insurance on the building. We have our own renter's insurance that, for inside the building. But
Because I think
That's
I
not a
I'd have
utility.
to look at it, because the idea, what I understood and why I think it got mailed to you was the budget, proposed budget got dropped to zero, because it said that there was some article that you guys should take care of the expenses.
the
I don't
utilities
remember.
only, which is heat and lights, that's what was voted on by the town back in the 80s.
Okay.
That was heat, lights, whatever, propane, whatever's being used.
So you guys haven't paid that in the past?
No,
No, it only came about when we were doing the budget
I think
season.
somebody didn't realize that this is not a utility.
But I think it only came about that, because we zeroed it on the proposed side, because there was some article that the chair brought up and said that the expenses, that's why everything got zeroed for the stone building.
Yeah.
Everything got zeroed, so that's
Yeah.
why.
I think they didn't realize that this was in there,
But yeah, I.
because this
mean,
isn't a utility.
Certainly can be looked at, but I think
Yeah.
that's why you got it,
Yeah,
because we were informed that,
So where would it come from now, then?
well, we're gonna have to look at it, I guess, right? Yeah.
When that budget didn't pass. I mean, we're in default budget, but,
I know, so there is money in that line.
right.
But I'm just saying that's how she got the bill,
yeah,
was because
I
of
had
what
no
was
clue
mentioned at
until
this
Wednesday
table.
night, I got it handed to me, and they said, what's this?
The money in line, 'cause we get.
It's an annual bill.
Oh, annual.
It's an annual monitoring of
Yeah.
the alarm system.
I would guess that this budget season we ought to figure it out, but if it's a default budget, we'll go back to the way it was, I guess, this year.
Right. There's still money in there because it's default, but if it was proposed, it was gonna be zero.
Yep.
Right,
For this upcoming budget, we should be part of the discussion, I would imagine.
right, right.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
thank you.
Yep, thanks. Tax auction company decision. We have two, we talked to them both lengthily. Anybody have opinions or prepared to make a vote on who we ought to go with? I understand it's kinda something we ought to get rolling with, so everything can get rolled out and it can get done this fall. Do we need more time to?
No, I have an opinion. Notwithstanding what was said tonight, I think St. Jean is a more experienced and they don't have hidden fees to the buyer in there. They do they take, the legal fees are included in their percentage. Even if the buyer gets their own attorney, they'll still cover it. But they have an attorney they work with, but, so I'm personally more comfortable with St. Jean. One, maximizing a town return, and which we can only take what is owed in taxes anyway, and two, minimizing the expense to the buyer.
And that's what we've used before, right?
Yep.
Most recently, anyway.
How many times have we used them, Naomi?
I think since I've been here, I was the one who did the first one in 2019, and I think we did a small one after that, so I think I've done it twice here. 2019 was a big
And who
one.
did them?
St. Jean did them both.
Both of
yes,
them?
Yes.
Yeah, it seemed like the better, I want to say the better choice. I think either one of them would be fine, but if I'm going to choose one, I would choose that.
So, sure, okay, I'll make a motion, that we award the tax auction, project to St. Jean.
Any other discussion about it? Well, before giving somebody that lives in town a chance at it, and I kind of throwing that around because it bothered me a little bit, but we're not super experienced in this type of thing. We've had two others in recent history. St. Jean's done it. They've done good for us, so, you know, it's not nothing that's in any of our wheelhouses that I'm aware of, so if they did good, I'm good with going with your recommendation in. You have a second?
So I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye?
Yes.
Yes. All right, the next is discussion plan for interviewing potential Board of Selectmen vacancies. So,
You want me to explain what I handed you?
you can.
All right, so in front of each one of you, I put together, we put together a, there was a Board of Selectmen vacancy advertisement that was posted on 5/19, indicating that we had 2-member vacancies to fill. If you're interested in filling one of them, please provide the following information by May 31st, and there was name, address, contact information, reason for interest, summary of qualifications. You could send it by email, or you could send it by regular mail, or drop it off here. And it said, please note you have to be a current resident, serve on the board. And then I just said, currently it's on the summer schedule, but will return every Monday after Labor Day. Other meetings may be added as necessary. The board will review all the information at its June 2nd meeting and interview on June 9th. Those interviewed will be contacted directly. So after that, when we started that, there were others actually prior to me posting it that watched the meeting. You have 25 people watching. Starting on the 13th, all the way through the 31st, you got a total of 10 people that submitted information. Now, in the package that I have you, I did it by date order. I gave you either the email and/or attachment that they put forth to consider you, and the nature it came to me. And why I say it that way, some was in a form letter, some was dropped off to us, some was more a lengthy style letter. So it was my understanding that tonight we would just, you guys needed to come up with a clear path of, so that we're all on the same page of how we're gonna do it, what's gonna happen, how you're gonna place, you know, like after you interview everybody and how you're gonna do it. So that's your discussion amongst yourselves.
So I think that we ought to interview all of them. I guess I don't know how you would narrow them down and not, I guess, unless you got an opinion. I don't see that they'd be long interviews. So why we couldn't come up with a couple questions each and leave it to like 10 minutes apiece, and maybe we could start.
I don't like that guy, I don't like
Right, exactly, yeah. Now, I know you weren't part of it. Were you part of it last time?
No.
Yeah, so, personally, I definitely don't want that accusation, because that will be made, I'm sure, if we were to cross somebody off without interviewing them. So I was thinking like 10 minutes apiece. They have to be done in public.
Yeah.
If we could start 15 minutes, 30 minutes early and still conduct our normal meeting. And then mull it over maybe and vote the next time, or try to squeeze it in and vote. I mean, I don't know all of these people, and I don't know what any of them are gonna say, so I don't know if we can interview 10 people and make the decision at the same time. I leave that up to your guys' opinion. I don't have a strong opinion that way, but I think, anyway, we ought to interview them all and maybe do like 10 minutes apiece. I can't imagine it needs to be any longer than that.
Probably not. So, no, that's fine, so we'll start next week.
Yeah.
I was thinking it, not my, and it's not my say, but I was thinking, don't give them a time limit, we'll list them in order, and some may ask questions of us when others don't. And then it may lead to more questions, so I don't wanna stick to 10 minutes, basically, my thought was I'd list them in the same order we received them, and then you could start asking questions. You may have a 5-minute one, you may have a 15-minute one. I think it might come out in the wash, but at the same time, there may be things that poke another question at you. You know what I mean? It might pique your curiosity, so,
Yeah,
you know, I don't wanna fix someone and tell them it's 10. I'm gonna say we're gonna start at such and such a time, and this is the
yeah.
order.
I don't wanna tell stories either, so.
Yeah, and I think you need to notify them all that, I mean, next meeting is our only interview period. If they can't make it,
Yeah.
then
Okay.
they're off.
Okay. Well, I think
At
that
least
was
they didn't get
on the
interviewed.
vacancy.
Right. Which makes the likelihood of getting picked lower.
Yeah.
And then do you wanna try to pick after that night, or do you wanna do it the next?
If we can.
I would like to, if we can, well, it's fresh in our mind and get it.
Okay. All right,
Do we want to start early?
I would just assume.
You talked about starting early, because when you get to the June 9th meeting, I have a start time at 5:30, so,
We did say that, okay.
and that was just, we didn't know.
Right.
you know, when we set that time.
That
If
probably work.
5:30 is too early, you
Would
could start at 6.
Work or no? I'll do 5:30, I can get out a little early.
Or you can do it 6, I mean,
I'll get out a little early, 5:30, it's up to you guys. I
Yeah,
think 5:30.
we do 5:30.
I can do 5:30.
5:30, all right.
Alright.
So what I did at 5:30 though is I did the call, the order, pledge allegiance, and then do you want to put them first and put public comment behind it?
Yes.
Okay.
I think most people that come for public comment are used to the 6:30 time, so.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Did you say anything? I was waiting for
Me
something.
too.
Well, I'm just worried at public comment that people are gonna get up and start critiquing the interviews, and
Before or after?
if it's after.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Well, they could before too, I mean.
I
if-
think we ought to do it before.
That's you guys' agenda.
I really think we ought to do public comment first, like we,
I guess the reason I say no is because we could start the interviews at a hard time, where public comment, you can't. There might not be any public comment, there might be an hour's worth of public comment. Where if we do the interviews and then public comment, I mean, if somebody's gonna, I mean,
you think it's gonna public comment's gonna last for an hour if we do it before the interview, it's gonna last for 2 hours if we do it after the interviews.
yeah, but at least if we tell the candidates that come that we're interviewing, they got a time the candidates can be here, that's what I'm thinking.
You can also limit public comment to 3 minutes or something.
Yeah, yeah. I just, when I tell somebody I'm gonna be here, we're gonna start at a certain time, it's nice to start at that time, and then,
Yep.
that's only, my only reason, otherwise it might,
Public comment to the end.
we used to do that.
We can do it, but
I'd
either
like-
do it first or at the very end, like James is saying.
I guess I'm just one. I would vote to do it right after the interviews. We do pledge allegiance, interviews, and then public comment. And then all of our business, and then pick at the very end, and then I'll pick whenever, I guess.
Okay.
At the end of the evening, you can make your choice.
That's what I was thinking, yeah, at the, whatever section it fits under.
I'm here, so.
It'll all be done in public to everybody that's watching.
Sounds with me. So you guys are all gonna come up with a couple questions apiece, is that what you're gonna do?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Just here, I mean, they all type this little information, and it'd be nice for them to tell that in public, so that everybody can hear it and see it.
Yep.
And, I imagine it'd be the standard questions of why you wanna do it, and can you do it, and, and then I'm sure we'll come up, that'll lead to other questions, I would assume, so.
Have any conflicts?
Right, so, I know there's two in the audience here whose name's on this list, so does that work for, doesn't really matter, because we can ask the other 8, does that work for you guys? Alright. You say no, we can't really say not, because we ain't asked the other 8.
Right,
It's a small sample size, but we can.
Right, exactly, so, alright,
all right, so 5:30, we'll start them first, have the exchange, and then do public comment after the rest of the meeting, and then you'll make a decision. And they're welcome to stay,
do public comment after interview,
after the interviews.
Yep.
Yep,
yep,
okay. Sounds like you got a plan.
sounds good.
Okay, you
Let us
guys
start
can,
with the plan.
you guys can take all those with you, so you have them for next week.
Okay, yeah, I'd
Yep.
like to read through them, thank you.
Yep.
So I just need to read the consent agenda, right? We
do.
just got one consent agenda, it's a disabled veterans credit, number 201-73. And just need to read it, right?
Yep.
And next is administrator's report.
All right, before I start that, I know Bruce, you didn't see it, there was a amended, easement in regards to the Sugar Hill property, okay? There was an easement, a maintenance and easement done, recorded, and now they've come to closing, and they realized that it probably needed our signature as well. It only had the builder on it. So the lawyer's office has now done a new one. The builder came in on Friday and I notarized for him. And I sent it all to you with the town council's okay to do it. I think you guys all got it, so that's only the signature page, so I've got the rest of it attached there.
Okay.
It's really just fixing a clerical error.
We're fixing we should have both signed the easement, and they didn't. They signed it and we recorded it the first time with just the one gentleman, not the town. And that was part of the planning board approval for that subdivision.
Right.
I just have the pages backwards because I put the signature page on top.
Yep.
That's the recorded copy that got sent with just his.
Yeah, they recorded it even.
They did record it. Yeah, so that's why they're ready to close on it, so they just, and that doesn't require a motion, it needs your signature only, because there's 3 of you. So, thank you, and I'll take it back after. So, you did your 3 things up front. We do have a Teams meeting, Wednesday to go over something with council, and that's a non-meeting. I sent you guys the link. Next week, we did talk about the vacancies to start at 5:30, BOS. I also have the Energy Commission bylaws to review, the Park and Rec bylaws to finalize. There's been some back and forth with cemetery, and the only reason I put that on because there was a response today that I shared with the Cemetery Advisory Committee. And they're going to be looking at, I guess, I'll say a counter. So I guess what I was waiting for was for their meeting Thursday night to review what the lawn company sent back in regards to the cemetery contract, you remember? And then let them forward it to us and we can make a decision on the 9th, not tonight, if that's agreeable to everyone else. We still have to do that. In light of having 10 people to interview and the other things that we have on there, I did move the employee evaluation and personnel out to our next meeting on the 23rd. We'll finalize the food pantry as well, because I have not got all signatures, people were gone. We also, in your email, you got an attorney letter from Attorney Cronin in regards to a piece of property on Winter Road. I'm just asking, do you just hold, or do you want me to forward it, or do you wait to see what happens? Is it just an FYI? Do I forward it, do I hold? Do you remember it? It's right there.
Yes,
I have 1 copy.
yeah, I remember it.
Well,
I don't think there's any action
no, I don't
at
either.
this point. I just don't know if, I'm just asking it. I mean, I can hold
It
it.
was kind of up to the planning board if they decide to take the site walker now, right?
Which we did. 2 hours ago. 3 hours ago.
This was just asking that you didn't, right?
Well,
And they were all there.
this says generally discussions made after applications are filed. Even the attorney is like admitting, saying the word generally, saying they're not. That it's not unusual, it may be unusual, but it's not allowed. So, and we made that point at the sidewalk, and the attorney acknowledged that that was the case. So, no harm, no foul here, but I mean, I just thought maybe, talking to Naomi a little while ago, maybe we just send this to our attorney, saying FYI, we don't want you to do anything with it. I mean, we don't want to run up a bill, but,
Or you can hold on to it
Or
till
we can-
something comes across planning board and you can do it at that point. I could flag it to a planning board folder.
I guess it wouldn't hurt to send it and say that they did it and see if there's anything we ought to do.
yeah, I wouldn't even ask him anything, just, for your file at this point, till something else.
I guess you ought to at least make the note that you took the site walk.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think?
Okay?
Certainly can. I mean, I think as soon as you start forwarding something, you're gonna start accruing.
Well, and that's,
I know.
I also, got forwarded you also, there was a request for an abatement on, lot 13 in the, Southwood Mobile Home Park. And, the abatement is not timely, because it was not filed by March 31st. My question would be, is, they're asking for an abatement, and the abatement would be 21, 22, 23, 24, and half of 25 is what is due. 21, 22, 23, one of the residents still lived in there. Now in 24, the second resident passed away. So, 24s and 25s, there's been an empty place because everybody's deceased. So, it's up to you on an abatement. If they would be interested, my suggestion, I think in my email to you people, was maybe see that they pay 21, 22, 23, or whatever you want to do. Lauren from Avatar is here on the 18th. I can have her look at it and give you guys a better answer. But we're trying to come up with a solution. The mobile home park has taken it over for non-payment of lot rent, and they tried auctioning it and there was no bids. So they took it over for, in lieu of lot rent. Do you want me to just see what Avatar has seen in other towns, what they do? I can do it, but it wouldn't come back to you till the 23rd, just to let you know that.
Well, it's too late for the abatement anyway, so.
It's too late for the abatement, but I just think how we handle it, maybe, I'll gladly ask her, and we can come back on the 23rd.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a touchy situation, I understand it. And I guess you're gonna bring up the solar grant
Yep.
later? Okay, then I won't. At some point, Jason had done all those snow and ice, solid waste and things like that. Do you want that? I know we have things to get done first, but do you want that? I put a future agenda item, and I don't wanna get that lost.
I mean, those are already finalized, right?
No, we had, the thought was we were gonna have a public hearing and do them all at once.
Yeah,
'cause
but
they're
that means
changes.
we're to that point.
For those, but not for the other ones that you and I had been working on.
Okay.
I mean, I just want you, I'm gonna leave it there, but we can do them all at once, because we're working on an email one for the BOS and everything else. Does that sound feasible for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't changed anything else, on the application, and there's nothing on the back that I've added for you. So that's all I would say I have for you for tonight. I'm good with that. So you have the manifest?
Yep, so, I'll read the manifest, I guess. Move to order the treasurer to sign the payroll and accounts payable checks dated June 5th, 2025, as included in the following manifest. Payroll manifest, $93,527.97 for weekly payroll. Accounts payable manifest, $38,858.17 for a total of $132,386.14. The following manifests were previously ordered to sign at May 12th, 2025 Board of Selectmen meeting. Payroll was $84,198.42. Accounts payable manifest was $12,320.92, both dated 5/22/25. And then payroll manifest $90,020.97 for 5/29. And accounts payable manifest $93,264.11, also dated 5/29/2025.
Have they got all three signatures? Because I knew need all three of you.
We'll make sure.
We're going through them.
Okay, thank you.
Do I have a second for that?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
And you got minutes?
We got some minutes
Yeah,
here.
you've got April 7,
14th,
7, I got them here, 7, 14, 21, and May 12th.
so I guess we can start with the 7th. I looked over them quick enough to see that the content was accurate, but I didn't get into the capitalizations and the periods.
Grammar,
Right.
Bring out your fine tooth comb.
I did not, and if you guys want, you're more than welcome to, so
no.
I'm not criticizing if one of you guys did, I didn't get time to read them to the period, they looked. So I guess we'll start with 427, or 47, I'm sorry.
No, I was fine as written.
I'll make a motion, we approve 4/7/25 minutes as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. The 14th? Any changes in the 14th?
No changes.
No. I'll make a motion, we approve the April 14th, 2025 minutes as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes?
Hang on, let me catch up. Okay.
How about 421?
I've got them right here. I'll make a motion, we approve the April 21st, 2025 minutes as written.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. We ready for the 12th? or-
I am.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion, we approve the May 12th, 2025 minutes as written.
I will second that.
Might as well keep the meeting minutes all the same.
Yep, I will second that. I will say, we did have an email regarding making some changes to that one.
Yes, we did.
And I think the way it is sufficient.
Yes. Yes, and that was it, right. One of the resignees was marked absent, and they wished to be not on there, and I think if you agree, was absent because we didn't recognize it and accept it until the meeting started.
Till the meeting is open, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, second, all in favor then?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. All right, anybody got selectmen committee updates?
Hang on, please,
Yes.
the catch up. All right, I'm back.
Had an Energy Committee meeting last Wednesday. And previously, they had applied for a grant for $120,000 for a pretty sized solar array on the safety complex. And at the time, they weren't awarded the grant, but the town that was, found out they couldn't accept it because they would have it took a lot more work than what was initially involved with the structure of the building evidently, so they backed out. So we were next in line, so they said if we want it, we can have it. I brought it to their attention that we don't have a nickel in the budget for it, it wasn't on the town, so we couldn't spend any money on it, so we couldn't do anything with it until next town meeting, it has to go to town vote, to accept the grant, to spend money, to, because the kind of a grant it is, evidently, they pay the bills after you've paid them.
Right. It's a reimbursement.
It's a reimbursement type grant. So the town's gonna have to come up probably with working capital to get this thing together of $40,000-$50,000. Because, I mean, it goes pretty quick. It's only a couple months to install, so they're gonna want money for hardware and everything else probably before they even get started.
Sure.
So I quizzed them, I said, look, make sure that this goes on till March. If we can't get minutes until March, we're still good, and I was assured that that's the case.
Okay. So hang on till,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the answer is, yes, we would like it, but we'll have to wait until
Yes.
voters approve.
Right.
I have a question. So the one group that get backed out because of structural, we're not gonna be one of those people, are we?
That building's fairly new. We should be safe with that.
Okay, I just don't want us to say yes and then have to say no, because our building needs some work too.
Yeah, I
I don't know if there's a way of finding that out before or no.
Well, if I recall what David said, it was the structure of the snow load and
Okay.
everything, since we're putting an additional weight
Okay.
of the solar panels on that roof wasn't good, but my understanding is that our roof is fine.
Okay, I just didn't want to be that same group to back
Right.
out after we put it on the warrant for next year.
Yeah,
Hopefully it is, because it is shingled there, right?
We just roofed it.
Hopefully this-
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
so I mean, if they just roofed it, that's perfect.
Hopefully
So
it's all right, yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
okay.
slide off the,
All right,
little
no,
better than
just
the
a
shingles.
question when you said that.
on my house, they come off before the other snow. I mean, I think the structure takes less weight when you've got a solar array up there.
Yeah,
Because it warms
It doesn't
up.
stick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
stone won't stay on it.
Okay. So you, is the board, we'll have to discuss this further at budget season, so you're gonna now basically put a placeholder for March, and we'll have to put something together.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they'll let us wait until March to give them an answer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
we'll
if
put
they're
it in
saying,
there.
no, we can't, then the answer is no.
Right.
Then we're done.
But I
And I was
would,
very clear about that, and that's the answer I got, was yes, to wait.
yeah, and I'm thinking there's others the same, when we all got told, no, we didn't do anything.
Right.
And unless somebody has a rainy day fund in another community that they can do it, but that's far and few between.
Right. Which is too bad that
Yeah,
we're
no,
always
it's-
on that.
it
tight
happens.
string, but- So you miss out on good deals sometimes, but it's good that we had an option to.
Hmm.
Anything, James?
No, I was away, so I missed
Oh, good for you.
the last part meeting, so I'll be getting updates soon on that.
And I'll be meeting with cemetery this week. Make it a point to be here on time this time.
Oh, we did get a lot of emails from WAC regarding everything. The
Cutting of the locks and everything.
cutting of locks, whether, and whether it was the landscapers. There was quite a bit of damage, not by the landscapers, but there seemed to be quite a bit of
Yeah.
vandalism going on. So there's, I said, I don't know what Park was able to discuss about that, but just for us to be aware that we'll probably have some angry football and soccer players coming at us soon to discuss that.
Okay. Anything else under that? Where's the best time to hire, this or the next one?
Correspondence, other business, you want to do your hires?
Yeah.
Yep.
If we're done with this one.
I am.
Selectmen, you get this?
I don't think so.
Next, we got correspondence and other business. We had 3 brief interviews tonight. One was for DPW, for an equipment operator, and 2 were for fire department, for the call department. So, I guess we'll start with the first one. Jason came in with George Silly, wanting to start him as an equipment operator, step 6, at $30.13 per hour, starting June 17th, and he'd be put on the 6-month standard probation. So I have a motion to hire George Silly.
I'll make that motion.
A second?
Second?
All right, all in favor for that?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Welcome aboard, George Silly, again. And then fire chief came in and he had 2 individuals, looking to just get on the call department. I guess they're going to, schooling and training to increase their qualifications down the road, but as far as now, there's gonna be, on the call department for $10 an hour if they do, come in. And they'd both like to be able to start on 6/3/2025. Their names is Riley Davis and Jaden Lamoth. That sounds good enough for a motion for anybody. Do I have a motion to accept those 2?
Make that motion?
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. That's really all I have, I guess, under that, myself. We did get an email, gentleman I don't have it in front of me, so I don't wanna try to get into it too deep, but someone requesting us to second think, allowing more houses to be built on a larger piece of property here in town, and I don't really feel like that's in the selectmen's hands. We have,
Is that the one I replied to?
yes,
He
Naomi,
didn't reply back to me.
Naomi made a
replied
pretty
back to
good
me.
reply back as far as, just telling him how things work, and I don't feel like it, I wanna acknowledge that we got it, but I don't feel like it's our business to, we have zoning boards and planning boards that, and the town taxpayers that go vote at the ballot every year that kinda decide this stuff. It's not the board that decides if we change commercial to residential, and if it's 5 acres or 2 acres, and I do wanna acknowledge that we got an email from him. I don't know if anybody else wants to.
No,
Yeah.
what-
So I replied back to him and rolled you guys into it. You guys all saw it. He only replied back to me. And he just said, "Thank you very much for your response and clarifying a few things for me." I don't know that I want to read this next sentence. It says, "I can tell you are a blessing for this town. I agree there are some concerning Senate and Congress bills currently in progress, that he's been emailing the governor on with his concerns. So he was under the impression and concern that we had a lot of town-owned property that we were selling to develop, and that
Oh.
wasn't there. So just, it's a long, long email, but he said that a lot of this is stuff I'm uneducated on, and please forgive me for my lack of understanding on the topic, and thank you again for taking time to respond." So he
Yeah.
got what he wanted, and we replied to him. But he did, a lot of it, I think, was a misunderstanding that we were selling lot to developers. Like, we talk about the auction. He thought they were properties that we were selling to them to let them build houses. So, and there are some new changes going on up there, which, as he knows, he's been reading and sending the governor his thoughts on that too. So, thank you for,
I guess the only other thing I wanted to just do a comment on, and probably the only time you ever hear me comment on anything as far as Facebook goes, but there's been a lot of chatter about why the ones that step down. We don't know. The reasons we got was they wanted more time to themselves, and that's the only reason they got, and that, I'm willing to accept that. There's no conspiracy or anything in the weeds that that I'm aware of. I'm assuming us three are aware of. They wanted to do other things with their time, and so we have 2 vacancies open, and that's why we're looking for new people. There's no, as far as we know, any underlying big things that seems to be of conversation, but as can be expected. Anybody else got anything?
No.
no, do you want to do 6-9, or just, I think we kind of did 6-9, the agenda?
Yeah, so we have, just to,
I know you and I
Let's refresh.
touched base, but
Yep.
just so
Yep.
if anybody else that I missed something.
we're gonna start at 5:30 with interviews.
Yeah, 5:30, call to order pledge. We're gonna do the interviews of the potential candidates, and I'll line them up. Public comment, department head and committee items. I don't have anybody. Then under that, I just did the review of the Energy Commission bylaws, the review of Parks and Rec bylaws, revisit the lawn care contract,
Yes,
then the regular consent, because I don't know how long you're gonna be with 10 people.
great.
And then the regular agenda, I don't know what Mary Ann has for a consent agenda. And then the police chief is asked at the very end of the evening to have a non-public for a personnel matter, so that he doesn't want to do it at the beginning because he knows
Yep.
you've got a lot of stuff going on.
That's fine, and I do agree if, won't put a time limit, but if
Yep.
you wanna estimate around 10 minutes a person, so if you want to put
Okay.
estimated time for public comment or whatever, I put estimated, of course. But, I do think we can get it done in 110 minutes.
So I do have a question. When,
Minutes.
the interview, the potential fill for vacancies, do I list everyone's name in case somebody wants to increase your viewership Monday night?
I
Just
don't
asking.
know.
On the agenda?
What's legal?
I mean, I want to be as public as possible,
Probably.
but if we just list them in a list.
Probably.
Certainly wouldn't hurt. In the order that you gave us to on this list tonight.
I just gave you their address so that they showed they all live in town, that's all.
Oh,
Just their name, right, that's all you're asking?
That's all I was gonna put the
Right.
name on.
yeah,
Probably a good idea.
Okay.
Probably the order that we have on our paper too.
Well, I just did it, that's the easiest way. I could flip around alphabetical and whatever, but I
You
just
already
did it
got a
by
list,
time
let's
frame.
stick to it.
Yeah.
Alphabetical by the third letter of the last.
Right?
yeah.
Kinda like how jury duty used to be picked. Used to start with the 17th person and every 6th one or something like that. Yeah, we used to do it that way.
No, that sounds, yeah, I think, I mean, we, made missteps last time by no militia, but we're trying better this time, and I don't think we could be any more transparent about it, so. If you put their names up, then that'd be, I don't know how we could be any more transparent about it.
We have our policy.
Yep.
And if anybody else tries to call and get on the list,
It's done.
then
It's
they're
over,
done,
yeah.
it's over.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that posting down, so. Okay, that's all I had. That's all.
All right,
I don't have anything else.
me either.
I need batteries for the mouse.
I move that we, adjourn at 8:10.
No second?
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, hold on. Takes me a minute, I gotta move the
Don't
mouse.
forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.